Viewers, welcome again to the Coach's Desk with host Coach Minzy. And in studio, we have today former referee, former match commissioner, the first woman to become president of the St. Catherine Football Association, chairman of the Jamaica Football Federation Women's Committee. Viewers, please welcome Elaine Walker-Brown to the Coach's Desk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mendes, for having me.
It's my pleasure. And how are you today, Miss Brown?
I am fine and I'm blessed.
So good to hear, so good to hear. Now, Miss Brown, let's get right into the meat of the matter. For our viewers, I would like for you to just introduce yourself and tell us who is Elaine Walker-Brown.
Oh, well, Elaine Walker-Brown is an ardent sports fan. A lot of persons see me as football, but I'm not only football, and in particular, women's football. The sports officer, one of the sports officer for the parish of St. Catherine with the Institute of Sports, and I must serve Jamaica and the world. That is my platform that has put me to this height where I am. It was the Institute of Sports who gave me this opportunity to be where I am today. I'm a mother of three girls. I'm a happy married woman for 28 years. My husband is very supportive of whatever I do, and my family at large. I am a disciplinarian. I'm a loving person. Sometimes persons see me with a serious face, but I am a no-nonsense person, but I am a very loving and caring person. I love football, I love people, and I love life.
Awesome. Yes, and I can verify that. Yes, Mrs. Brown is a people person. Wonderful woman. All right, so Miss Brown, in regards to your sporting involvement, how did that start?
Well, years ago, years when I was pretty young, when I was at home, when Black Lions was reigning in St. Catherine, I used to steal away with a friend and go just right across from my home to the football field. And I have a very good friend, and we are still good friends. My dearest friend, Maxine Brown, she's now residing in Canada. She influenced me to get involved with football. And the great Juicy Bell, Howard Bell, used to play for Black Lions. So we were very close with Juicy. And I must tell you that it has grown, and I went to Marvelly UNDN Football Club, and I started as a secretary there at Marvelly UNDN. And in 1997, Bob West influenced me to take on the challenge of president of the Women's Football Association. I was supported by Billy Masters and a former administrator of CASAFA, Dougal Campbell. And these men encouraging me, I know I had that support to do it, and they can teach me and they can help me to be successful. So I took on the channel in 1997 as president of the Jamaica Women's Football Association. And it blossomed from there because I become a member of staff at the Institute of Sports, under Clayton Solomon and the great Churchill Nita. They was very, very supportive of me. And I must tell you, up to date, the Institute of Sports, everything that I do, I have the support of the Institute of Sports and any sports minister that you see in place, whatever political party they belong to. The Honorable President Miller and Natalie, don't talk about Mr. because they're coming from a long way with Minister Grange. They always give me 100% support. So I have those strengths where other women are concerned. And there are other women, and I must say, through the JFF board of directors, um, coming from Mr. Dale Days as president and Tony James. And we've been struggling with women football. I've learned a lot through the JFF and the board of directors. And they too, especially the men, it was very challenging at times for the men to accept us playing football as women. So sometimes I tell people that I might have sound rough at times, but this is caused by the men who I had to fight with to get to where we are today with women's football.
And the fight continues where Miss Brown is concerned.
Yes,
She won't
yes.
relent a bit. She will fight and fight for the girls to play football. But Miss Brown, I want you to backtrack there a little bit and talk about your involvement as a referee.
Oh, okay. It's because of Clayton Solomon again. He was my administrative director of the Institute of Sports. I must say, when I was in CASAFA, because a lot of people don't know that I was once the administrator of CASAFA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is where Mr. Solomon saw me and invited me and tell me that he wants somebody like me to be a member of staff at the Institute of Sports. And that's where it all started as me becoming a sports officer.
Mm-hmm.
I worked closely with Mr. Nita when he was chairman of the Institute of Sports, and I started to get involved with refereeing. Because one of the things that I look at, there wasn't any woman referee at the time, and I encouraged one of my friends, my very dear friend too, Margaret Sutherland, to join me, and and that's how it all started. And I have at some time it was fearful, but the respect, to be honest, the respect for me as a woman, when I go there, I receive it, but I was challenged at times to go to certain community, you know. It was fearful to go to certain community, but the high ranking referees like Peter Prendergast, Dave Meikle and Victor Stewart, once they were on again, and I am gonna be with them. I always feel comfortable. But I've gained the respect of the community and Jamaica, even as a referee.
Awesome, awesome. Now, Miss Brown, you seem to have a great passion and a knack for women's football. Could you elaborate on that for the viewers?
Mhm, mhm. And it is so fortunate that it's women, because I don't like women company. I never like women company, and that's why I was with the men. But as I said, Bob West was the one that influenced me to start this journey where women's football is concerned. And I must say that I've grown to love it. The opportunities that are there for the girls. I didn't went to university until I was an adult. My parents could not afford me the opportunity to go to university. It's not that they didn't want me to go, but they couldn't afford it. And I must say that this pushed me where women football is concerned, because there's a lot of talented young ladies out there. Um, they do their academics, and this is one of the things that we encourage for them to study the same way they play the sport, because both go hand in hand. You cannot achieve with the football if you're not academically inclined. So these girls took up the challenge. I must tell you that some years ago, females thought that I was the one that was giving scholarship. They didn't know that their peers have to work hard to gain these scholarships. So when they all realized, it reached a stage, Mr. Menzies, that I didn't have players to recommend to university. We exhaust that,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the proudest moments for me. I don't like begging. I do beg. And one of the proud things that I speak to, when I beg, I don't beg for myself. So I can beg. And I always see no problem in going out to try and get these airfares and whatever the girls needed for them to go off to universities. So I think I grew to love it, because you give so much young ladies the opportunity that if it wasn't for the sports of women's football, they would not achieve. They would not achieve because their parents could not afford them going off to university.
Okay, awesome. So basically, you actually did a job that actually helped people, and you feel so good about that throughout your life. That's awesome. Now, Miss Brown, I had this question for you, but I know that you'd have mentioned it, that those persons, those stalwarts that you mentioned, they would have allowed you to get involved in sports administration because of being around them. You mentioned a few names there, so we wouldn't want to go ahead and ask you that question again. Now, let me fast forward to you being the St. Catherine FA boss, lady boss, right? Now, what sort of plans do you have for football development in St. Catherine, and in particular, the women's football?
One of the things for me to take on this challenge, I was approached about 2 years before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did, I seek advice. I ask some persons. I ensure that I'm equipped and ready. And one of the things that I was challenged with, and I was going to do it, as you know, where you participate in the Institute of Sports competition through your school. And one of the things that I was going to do through the Institute of Sports is to um, seek and find the elite players
Mm-hmm.
within the parish, because I didn't think that the opportunity was given to them. The talents that was there, even at the DeCosta and the Manning Cup level in the parish of St. Catherine, I don't think they were exposed enough. And I see what happened for women football, and out there traveling the world with women football, the same opportunity is there for the boys, and it was not given to them. So when we go off to the World Cup in France, and I came back, it just that one jump beside the president of FIFA made me such a celebrity. The world saw me, persons who didn't know saw me, and I think coming back from the World Cup, it tempo me becoming the president. They wanted me to become the president. And when I look at the amount of persons that had approached me, um, I finally spoke to one gentleman, and everybody want to know who was that man that or that person that make you decide. And he's a godfather. He guide me. He helped me through my football career. And once he says whatever he says, that is what I'm gonna do. And he supported me, and I decided to go on. But my task in the parish is for development, and it's so unfortunate that COVID came. And I'm not going to say anything about COVID because God has his plan. God knows why this thing came, and I'm awaiting what the end result is. But the plans that we have, and I've done it with a little elite group, with a scout, and two of the young men was to go off to Spain and one to go off to university. And that didn't happen because of COVID. And that would show the parish exactly what I'm about. Because some of these young men in the inner city of St. Catherine, they can do their schoolwork and they can play the football, and you can show them that there is opportunity for them. And that was what I'm about, looking at the whole development. Even presently with COVID, what we're doing now, we are planning now to recruit referees, because if and when the competition start, we need referees. There are young men in the parishes and the schools that can take time and gradually equip themselves and become future FIFA referees. You understand me? And what I'm doing, I hope that other parishes, because it's not about St. Catherine, I'm the St. Catherine president. You understand? But I would love all of us within the parishes to look at the women's football development, because that was not done in the parish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of my main tasks. Um, just getting out of COVID, I'm gonna put an elite squad together, because the amount of persons from overseas who need defenders, who need forwards, who need players. So I'm gonna get my girls and my schools in the parish equipped for these opportunities. So it's broad. It's right from youth right up um, to the senior, to the masters league. You understand? Because at the masters level, you need to exercise. You
Right.
need to be healthy. You understand me? So it's a broad base. I think the parish is so far pleased with me. Some of those who did not vote for me, I didn't know. They confess, and they glad what has happened. You
Yes.
know. So persons are working with me, and with COVID, we're doing what we can do on Zoom.
Right.
So when ready, we can go there and do the practical. So we do the theoretical now on Zoom as a parish, and when we
Mhm.
can go there, we go there and do the practicals.
So quite frankly, things are in place. The vehicle is started, so to speak. The only thing for to happen right now is for the clutch to be lifted and the gas press for you to move forward
Exactly,
with
exactly,
your
and
plans. And it's
yes,
so interesting that persons would have confessed that they did not vote for you, but they're actually pleased with what you're doing. And that's a good look. That seems to me that support will be given to your stewardship going forward.
yes, yes. And I want to say to you, Sir Mendes, because some persons are saying, "Oh, you talk like that." There are funding. We have money.
Mm-hmm.
We
It is
for the
important.
development,
Important.
which is the development for referees, the development for the youths, the development for women. You understand me? Management training for our staff and so. And these funds came through the JFF from CONCACAF.
Okay.
So as we speak now, as I tell persons, that cannot be touched. Those monies are for specific. So as soon as COVID, we don't have to say, boy, we need some money. We need money.
Mm-hmm.
We need money, but for these developing areas, there's support there financially.
Okay, that's awesome. And you mentioned JFF, and a lot of things have been happening in JFF for the past few weeks, and many persons, many sects of the country, they are asking for the resignation of the current president or the current team. Now, with your wealth of experience in football, Miss Brown, and the level of this exposure that you would have been given throughout the years, would you be interested in going up for that position of JFF boss, first female?
Well, in what year?
You tell us. You tell us.
Okay. I think I've grown to take on the challenge of becoming St. Catherine football president.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are times you have to understand that you have to grow. I know I have a certain knowledge where football administration is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
but as I can tell you, not now, but very soon.
Okay, very soon. Sounds interesting. So let us leave that one there. Um, FIFA said, Mrs. Brown, that more women should be included in decision-making aspect of football. How delighted are you to hear that or for that to be happening right now?
I'm happy to hear that, and I'm a bit worried
Mm-hmm.
because not plenty of our women are taking up these challenges.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
There's nothing to fear. The only thing is that some of the men behave like they are not comfortable. Worse if you speak out. Worse if you know nonsense and you know what you're about. But I want to encourage a woman, you know. And one of the things that happens is that FIFA put on courses.
Mm-hmm.
FIFA do things to equip us.
Right,
You
right.
understand? And even now in the department of coaching where female is concerned, FIFA is also saying that we still don't want any men around a woman. You understand me?
Okay.
Right. So I want to take the opportunity to encourage a woman. A lot of women love football. You understand? And that's where I started. You understand? Because I can say to you that every aspect, you name an area where football is concerned that I wasn't involved in. I was once a player, I was a referee, I
Yeah.
was a spectator. I was in every area of football life. So I have grown, and there are women out there,
Yeah.
but they would not step up to the administrative side of things. And I think sometimes is some men tend to want to put us down. And
Or
I think those
or intimidation.
right, those days are going away.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look around the world, you know, and I'm not saying that is woman time. I remember when I won, somebody saying woman time, and I said no, don't put down the men because I couldn't be where I am today without men holding my hand.
Awesome.
I've
Awesome.
yes, they are the ones that has equipped me and
Mm-hmm.
helped me to be where I am today. So don't come with the gender.
Right. So the
Don't
gender biases and the gender differences should be put aside when we are talking about
aside.
sports and
Yes.
development of sports.
Yes. You must be ready and equipped and knowledgeable to do what you do, not the gender.
Awesome. Awesome, Mrs. Brown. All right. Finally, Mrs. Brown, I know that you were over the moon when the young ladies qualified for the World Cup in France 2 years ago. Are things in place to repeat that feat? But before you tell me
I'm
that, I want you to tell me how elated you were because I know you were one of the persons who were pushing for those girls.
I can't find words to express that. I can't find and President Infantino, he was there just stirring me on. He was so happy for this little nation, Jamaica. I must tell you that I went before the girls go off to the World Cup after they qualify in March. I went to a congress in a conference in Mexico, and FIFA had written to the JFF asking me to, be a presenter to tell where women football is coming from to reach where it is today. And I remember when I sat there and I was talking, because I said, go way back. And I went way back and I told them that there was a day that we had breakfast, but I didn't know where lunch and dinner was coming from. And that time we used to camp at the National Stadium. And when I was going away, the girls were saying, who want curry goat, who want what? And I told them that sometimes we didn't have vegetable or anything. And I must lift my hat to Raymond Anderson.
Mhm.
Raymond was with women football even before me. And Raymond used to bring the green bananas and the mangoes and so from St. Mary, and that it would help, you know. And I was telling them, and to see where we are when we have nutritionists, and it was a blessing. And I see persons cry. I see persons cry, and they are saying that how Jamaica, with the little resources that we have,
Mhm.
reach where we are. And I'm telling them because of the persons and the administrators and the love for the sport. But coming back to the World Cup, when President Infantino, we sat there and he was saying, Elaine, how this happened? But what happened? The way he can relate to me, and I realized that they researched me because he couldn't ask me so much some questions that he asked. And he look at me and say, you guys are coming back. You are coming back. This little nation, look how you impress the world. And I'm saying to you now that COVID again, as derail us a little where the women football development is concerned. Because with the girls going to World Cup, the interest has grown. You understand? So Jamaicans don't see what we had planned, stepping out and giving even other younger girls the opportunity because of this exposure. But the plans are there. We are doing what we have to do off the field right now. And as soon as we can get out there, Jamaica and the world will see that we are prepared and we are gonna ready for the next World Cup.
Awesome there, Mrs. Brown. You know, our little chat here was very inspiring, was very touching to hear where you're coming from as a sports person who devoted your life so much to sports. And it's a good thing to know that a woman would, take the time out to dedicate her life to sports, even as a mother. It's quite commendable. And it's now the end of the show, Mrs. Brown. We indeed thank you for stopping by here on the coach's desk. But before
But
you
Mr.
go,
Mr. Menzies, I want to correct something that you made when you were introducing me.
yes, go ahead.
I'm still a match commissioner.
Oh, you're still a
I'm
match
not.
commissioner? Oh, I did
Yes, I'm
say
not.
former, right?
Right, right. I'm
No,
still an
no,
international match commissioner.
no problem, no problem. We just want to give you the opportunity, Miss Brown, to say your final thoughts here on the show today before we end.
I want to take this opportunity, and sometimes I call names and I'll get in trouble
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of persons, despite the ones that I've spoken about before, that have guided me and has helped me. I must have even some have deceased You know, I've started at the business house. I was a recording secretary at the business house. That's where I started the whole secretarial aspect, you know, of football. And I want to say thanks to everybody who has assisted me
Mm.
in being where I am today. If I call names, I'm gonna leave out somebody,
Right, right.
you know. But you know that you have contributed to me being here, to my family, my brothers and sisters, both overseas and locally. My mother, I told her that I tell people that she wasn't a fan of football, but she said because it was a hooligan sport. And I tried to convince my mother, and she has seen the result from it because there was even at women football level of indiscipline, and we take time and get it out, you know, and we can use this to mold young lives and to give them the opportunity that they need. You know, my mother is my ardent fan now, but for my husband and my brothers and sisters and my children, thanks for giving me the time, you know, to travel the world and do what I love so much, and the support. And as I said, the sky is the limit, and I will take my time and grow until the opportunity comes where you see the first woman for the JFF.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well said, Mrs. Brown. Well, we are waiting and hoping to see that to happen. Thanks very much again for tuning in to the Coaches Desk. Thanks for stopping by here, Mrs. Brown. I'm sure persons are now aware who Mrs. Brown is if they did not know. And we really appreciate you being here. Um, we hope that you'll have a wonderful day and you'll continue to do the good work as a sports administrator and the FA boss there in St. Catherine. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and it was great having you here. I'm out.
Same here. Thank you, Mr. Mendes.